Hi everyone. For the next week and a half or so, as school is winding down, I'd like to talk about one of my favorite topics of music, and that is music in video games and the role that music plays in video games. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so Moore's law is the mathematical idea that the number of transistors per square inch placed on a microchip roughly doubles every 12 to 15 months. This means that every year computer technology doubles in ability and complexity. So the computers that are built this year are twice as powerful as the computers built last year, which were twice as powerful as the computers built the year prior, and so on. I believe the transistors are the ability to for a microchip to either calculate a 0 or a 1. So in essence, every 12 to 15 months, you can fit twice the amount of information as you could have fit the year prior on a surface of a microchip. Bless you. Bless you. Yeah, Gesundheit. So the example of here's an example of a very early video game. I want you to notice the role that music plays in the game, or most accurately here, right, in the game Asteroids, there's almost no music. It's 1979. If you want to play a video game, the place where you go, because my daughter's going to sneeze again, the place where you go is a video game arcade, right? This one is for the 1979 Atari, but before that, you had your video game arcade where you would go, maybe play pinball, whatever. Alright, let's see if we can make this full screen. So there's really not much music going on in these very early games, right? You just have your ship. It's shooting whatever lasers at these asteroids that are coming straight for your ship. And there's really not too much other soundtracks going on. Every once in a while you get maybe a different sound effect to come out or whatever. There is some background music. It's very faint. You have to listen carefully to it. But it's almost like a timer. It's just one little riff played over and over again. So 1979, that's where we're at with music in video games right now. Okay. Here's an example of music being used as a background in a video game. And this is Super Mario, a game that everyone knows. And this is a playthrough of the entire game, but we'll listen to just a snippet of it. Just a snippet. This game came out in 1985, I believe. What the heck? Okay, so by now there's background music, and then all of the actions that Mario can take make a sound have a sound effect. Okay, this person's cheating because they decided to go up on the top and run through the whole level here. So, not really cheating, but right, it goes in the pipe. Nice. Alright, we get the point, right? It's we've all heard this music before. It's iconic. But it's being made by the sound effects microchip in the Super Nintendo system. So, all the music of the NES has this chip tune quality, is sometimes referred to as. And that's just because the system can only make a certain amount of, has only enough memory to make a certain amount of sounds. So composers were limited by the capabilities of the Super Nintendo when they're making the music for the games. All right. Okay, so early console N64, The Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time, which is a staple game if you are a fan of Nintendo. Right, this game allowed you to play as Link, and you would actually use your I think it was called the D-pad on the N64 controller to play certain melodies. It was pretty cool. And certain melodies had different effects in game, so you could use, the ocarina to travel through time effectively, which is pretty cool. All right. So let's listen to that really quick. Right, you could play different buttons on the actual controller and then control elements in the game. This is how you call your horse, for example. Pretty cool. So here you'll see just two things I'm noticing listening to this song. Watching this gameplay. Right, with each level, with each new scene of the game, the mood of the music changes. So that's not necessarily a new thing in this game. But we're not quite hearing pre-recorded music. We're still hearing the N64's sound generation chip making the game music. It's pretty reactive to your gameplay, right? You can do all this cool stuff like call your horse over or whatever. You're not really hearing dialogue being recorded and said, so they're not able to synthesize human voices, and they're also not really able to record music from our world and put it in the game world yet. It's still chiptune music. It's just 64-bit chiptune music instead of, let's say, 8-bit chiptune music like the Super Nintendo music. This is pure nostalgia for me, so I like to listen to it. Amazing. I mean, how amazing is that? All right, we get the point of that. That's pretty sweet. I gotta dust off my N64 emulators this summer. That's for sure. Let's jump to the second most recent console, which is one of not so distant memory for me. This gaming moment in a game called Metal Gear Solid, which came out in 2004. In my opinion, is one of the greatest musical moments of all video games. But that's my opinion, of course. But you'll see at this point in gaming, right? It's PlayStation 2 era, Xbox 360 era. Am I right about that? Yeah, Xbox 360 era, PlayStation 2, and you've got the ability now of gaming companies to record their own soundtrack using a live orchestra or a live ensemble of some sort, and then transplant those sounds into the game that already may have used other types of background music. So while this is not indicative of normal gameplay, it's just an interesting musical moment that's sort of illustrates the psychological drama of the main character, who is a you play as Snake, who is a very complex individual. He's a complicated guy, a soldier trying to make his way in the world. But anyway, so there's this moment that he could be having of self-reflection, sort of, and then you as the player get to experience that too. Right? You're in this tunnel thing, and you start climbing up, and watch what happens. What is this ad? Listen to a minute of that or so. So you got this awesome like jazz singer belting out a tune. So what's cool about this too is like they isolated the vocals of this really wild jazz song that they play in the beginning. I don't know. So the game is called Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. And I'm like, that's just a cool moment. For anyone who's ever played that game, you know what it just lands. It's just a moment that lands. But I'm just trying to illustrate the point that, yeah, now we can take actual lyrics and actual music instruments and put them in the game. Here is a video that I played for a few students about Super Mario Odyssey, which came out for the Nintendo Switch 2018. And here you've got the ability of the game to reharmonize the music based on your gameplay on the fly, which is pretty cool.
Looks like it'd be something like this. The melody there is the line created by the power line sound effect, and the chord symbols represent the harmony of the two songs. You'll notice...
Alright, so anyway, I've left you a link in the actual video, in the actual class description. Check it out. Let's see, where is my class? Check it out. It's not the... We really don't know, kind of, at this point in video game history, what music, or what the role of music will be, especially as we come into the sort of the end of this era, right? Because the PlayStation 5 is now announced. The Xbox mini fridge is announced. I'm sure they're going to come out with some sort of Nintendo equivalent too. So it'll take a little bit of time to sort of see what the new stuff is and then reflect on the old stuff. But we're basically at that point in video game music history. And it's a topic that I like to talk a lot about. So, yeah. That being said, the question of the day is, how has music changed in your experience playing video game? And what's your favorite video game? Music. Okay. Good luck, and I'd love to hear from you soon. Bye.